Hello everyone, my name is Kait Malone and welcome back to my true crime channel. Today we are going to be talking about the case of missing Harmony Montgomery, who is a 7-year-old that is missing out of New Hampshire. In today's video, I'm also going to be talking about the important individuals involved in this case, as well as a timeline that I've created throughout the years. Harmony hasn't been seen since 2019, and on top of that, there have been multiple calls to CPS as well as law enforcement that haven't really resulted in anything until recently. This little girl's been missing for 2 years, and no one did anything about it. Let's start off by getting a little bit into who Harmony is. Harmony is a 7-year-old little girl from Manchester, New Hampshire, who would have been 5 years old at the time of her disappearance 2 years ago. She's legally blind in her right eye, as you can see in the photos I currently have up, and she also occasionally wears glasses. Harmony is also the daughter of Crystal Sorey and Adam Montgomery, and I'm going to go into a pretty deep dive into who Adam Montgomery is and all of his past criminal activity. And I'm mainly going to focus on Adam because he's the one who's currently arrested, and he is also the person who had custody of Harmony at the time of her disappearance. And as I mentioned, Harmony's been missing for about 2 years now, suspectedly in October of 2019, and that was the last time she was seen during a wellness check by authorities at her father's home. But the strange thing is, Harmony wouldn't be officially reported missing and looked into until December 31st of 2021, and that is when Manchester police were made aware that she hadn't been seen since 2019. She also hadn't been enrolled in school since 2019, but also recently Harmony's mother, Crystal, has done quite a few interviews and a lot of documents have been released regarding police reports and whatnot, which I will get into further on in this video. So before we get into the timeline, I want to discuss a little bit about some of the key players in this case that we're dealing with, namely who the man at the center of this investigation is, Adam Montgomery. So as we know, Adam is the father of Harmony Montgomery. He had legal custody of her, which I will get into when he got that during the timeline when we discuss that. But I really want to get into Adam's criminal history because he has a long criminal history. Court records show that Adam Montgomery has a lengthy criminal history in New Hampshire with 34 cases listed, many dating back to when he was a minor. And he also has a substance abuse problem, just like we will discuss Harmony's mother, Crystal, does. Currently, Adam is 31 years old, but we're going to jump all the way back to when Adam was 16. This is one of the first charges that I found. So at 16, while living on Donald Street in Bedford, Adam reportedly brought a weapon to a school in Manchester and was charged with felony possession of a dangerous weapon on school grounds. He skipped this court date, which led to police attempting to search for him, according to news reports. About a year later, in July of 2007, Adam Montgomery was charged with burglary, simple assault, and curfew violation for being on the grounds of another Queen City school. He was accused of following a girl into her home on Plainfield Street in Manchester after accusing the girl of being in possession of his stolen cell phone on July 5th, 2007. Adam Montgomery then requested another girl he was with to punch the girl he was following, which she did, according to accounts, with a closed fist to the face. He would enter a no contest plea to the burglary charge, which was dismissed in January 2008. The school grounds incident occurred at Northwest Elementary School in Manchester. It's unknown what occurred there or how the charge was resolved. So as we can see, Adam, as a teenager, already had a list of pretty severe charges mounting against him. So a few months later, Adam Montgomery was charged with criminal threatening after pulling a knife on a former girlfriend who was only 15 years old at the time, and this was in Bedford on September 7th in 2007. Adam Montgomery was held but released later on a $5,000 cash bail after pleading not guilty in court in November 2007. His bail was then revoked in March 2008, and the next month he pled guilty, receiving a year in prison, a portion suspended, and probation. Okay. I then found out also in 2008, Adam was charged with breaking into a Malden apartment and demanding money from 2 women at gunpoint. At one point, he also held the weapon at one of their necks, according to a Malden police report. When officers detained Adam and another man who was with him, Adam pointed the gun, later determined to be a pellet gun, at one of the officers before being wrestled to the ground. So there's that. It goes on. And it gets worse. On May 6th of 2008, Adam Montgomery stabbed another teen in the leg and pushed him out of a moving vehicle in Manchester. He was charged with first-degree assault and reckless conduct charges, both felonies. A police prosecutor at the time told the New Hampshire Union Leader the incident was a drug ripoff of sorts, with Adam Montgomery believing he was sold fake drugs. So basically that he stabbed at this person in the leg because he thought he was being sold fake drugs. Reasonable, right? The prosecutor called the combination of weapons and narcotics a recipe for disaster. Adam Montgomery was then released on a $25,000 cash bail and told the court he had no problem staying away from the victim. And then there was the 2 shootings. So 5 years later, Adam Montgomery went to a home on Cedar Street in Haverhill, Massachusetts to score heroin and ended up shooting a man during the drug deal. When Adam was only 24, He shot a man in the head during another drug deal gone bad 6 months before Harmony was born. In the 2014 shooting, the victim was shot in the chin and the bullet exited the man's left temple. He was taken to the hospital and later recovered from the shooting. So thankfully for Adam, this man did not die because he would have had an even increasing list of charges. During the incident, Adam Montgomery was also shot in the arm. Court records note that the same gun, a .38 caliber Taurus revolver, was used in both shootings. Police called it a drug deal gone bad once again, according to the report, with Adam Montgomery admitting he went to the home to score drugs again, and then he was jumped in an attempted robbery of the $280 that he had there to buy the drugs. He then shot the man, but was dragged out of the building, beaten, and shot outside himself by the men who jumped him. So all around, just not a good life decisions Adam was making back then. Just his entire life just seems like one bad decision. So Adam clearly has a lot of charges. Next, I'm going to get into what the women in his life say about him. So first, I'm going to play you an interview that Crystal Sorey, who is Harmony's mother, did. And in this interview, she described quite a bit about what it was like being with Adam. And it's not good.
Have you ever seen Adam be violent?
Yeah, when I was in a relationship with him, he used to choke me. I was pregnant with her, he'd choke me, like all kinds of stuff. If you did more than him, he'd choke you. If you were texting and he didn't want you to, or somebody he didn't like, he would do whatever to you, scream at you, get in your face, whatever. He uses his intimidation and manipulation to get what he wants.
So yeah, I'm honestly not surprised what Crystal says about Adam. Honestly, I believe it after hearing all of his charges and the way that he treated his ex-girlfriends. Honestly, I believe Crystal, I really do. So Adam has Harmony with Crystal. He then has, I think it's another 3 children with his current wife that he's currently legally married to, Kayla. He also has another girlfriend. We'll get into that after. But he's currently married to a woman named Kayla. And his wife, Kayla, currently has a restraining order on him for DV and tapping on the window with a knife. He was also prosecuted in Manchester last year on several charges related to this, including stalking his estranged wife, Kayla, and her 3 children and resisting arrest. He was given a 1-year sentence that was suspended for 2 years and was ordered to undergo mental health counseling, records show. Okay. I don't think he went through that, but that's my opinion, you know? And honestly, I'm sure there's much, much more that we don't know about him. There's also going to be dozens of more calls to his home that we're going to be talking about in the timeline. So that's a pretty good rundown of who Adam is. There's not too much known about Harmony's mother, Crystal, although in her past she was charged with receiving stolen property, theft by unlawful taking of movable property, and purchasing, etc., alcoholic beverages by a minor in Pennsylvania, according to records, in June and July of 2011. So this was quite a long time ago. Apparently she has a couple charges or whatnot against her for minor things. Clearly nothing compared to Adam's rap sheet. We also know that she did have a substance abuse problem, just like Adam, and just like Adam's current wife, Kayla, also did or does. And this substance abuse problem will lead to her losing Harmony, which we will get into. But as of current times, it seems that she has gotten sober and that she's worked on her recovery and that she has kind of cleaned up her life more. Okay, so now we're going to get into the timeline. Let's flash back into 2018, and that is where we're going to start the timeline. In 2018, Harmony was in and out of foster care. So Crystal ended up eventually losing custody due to her struggling with substance abuse, and Adam was eventually given full custody. I'm going to play a little clip for you guys here now of Crystal explaining that, how she doesn't understand how Adam got custody, which I don't either. Let me know down below if any of this makes sense to you. After his criminal rap sheet and just everything that's going to come out, it just is incredible that Adam got custody in the first place, let alone maintained custody. I'm going to play a clip for you guys of Crystal describing how it was before Adam got custody of Harmony. It seemed that there was some turmoil between them, of course, and it seemed that there was visitations that Adam had with Harmony that didn't go well, which makes everyone question how Adam even got custody in the first place, but I'm just going to leave this here for you guys to have a little listen to.
Have you ever seen him be violent towards Harmony?
Towards her, not me seeing this, but we had a play therapist that she had while he was getting visits when I had custody of her. And even my play therapist had made a report, before he got custody, mind you. I still had custody of her at this point. The play therapist made a report of abuse saying there was definite abuse going on in the house during visits. And when she told me that, I completely never let him have visits with her again, you know? Because Nan was supervising them, and there was like once or twice where she had doc's appointments and stuff, so she wasn't there the whole time. And he's short-tempered, you know, so he, you know, as soon as he gets the second or loses his temper, he's gonna hit her.
So on top of that, it didn't help that Adam lived in New Hampshire and Crystal lived in Massachusetts. So there was also a lot of distance dividing them. So it was really hard at the time for Crystal to even attain any kind of contact with her daughter. Authorities would then receive 13 calls for servants in a 5-month span in 2019 to the Manchester, New Hampshire home where Harmony Montgomery was last seen. 13 times in a 5-month span after Adam gets custody. Boston 25 News reports that Manchester police files show officers responded to the residence of 77 Guilford Street over a dozen times between June and November of 2019, with the majority of calls made for DV, animal, and building complaints. Crystal claims that the last time she spoke to her daughter was April of 2019, and that is when she talked to Harmony over a FaceTime call. In this call, Crystal remembers Harmony looking frightened during the call. It seems as soon as Adam was given custody that he seemed to drop all contact with Crystal. Crystal describes this in one of her interviews, how it seemed like Adam was kind of coaching Harmony on what to say to her. And then when Adam kind of got fed up about it, he blocked her everywhere so that, Crystal couldn't have any contact with Harmony. And here's the interview again where Crystal speaks about this very call.
And what did she seem like when you saw her on FaceTime?
Terrified. I would say, hey, what's going on? What'd you eat for lunch? What'd you do today? Are you going to school yet? Like, how are your brothers and sisters? You got any friends? Little questions like that. I'm her mom. Like, I want to know these things. I want to know if she's happy. And every time I asked these things, he would pause it and he'd tell whatever he'd say to her. I can't hear him. He'd mute it. And he'd be like, don't tell her. Don't. And she'd be like, and I'm watching her, so he'd unmute it, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are you muting it every time I ask her a question? Why aren't you letting her talk to me? Why are you answering for her? Like, you're acting weird, Adam. I'm like, what's going on? Like, we're co-parenting. Like, you're letting me have visits. Like, what's going on? He's like, I have sole custody, sole decision making. You don't get to ask me shit. And he hangs up and blocks me. And that was the last thing I had contact with her and saw her.
In July of 2019, Adam's uncle and Harmony's great uncle, Kevin Montgomery, says that he's seen Harmony with a black eye. And this is one of the big incidents that's the center of this case. And this eventually led Kevin to calling CPS. And here's where it gets bad. Kevin says that when he asked Adam why she had a black eye, he allegedly admitted to bashing her around the house, which we will hear that come up a lot in this case, Adam saying this. He said this happened after he left Harmony in charge of her infant brother while he used the bathroom. But what led to the black eye is that prosecutors allege that the baby started crying and Harmony put her hands over the baby's mouth to stop the baby from crying, which seems like a reasonable thing that a 5-year-old would do. So in turn, Adam decided to punish Harmony by beating her. And this wouldn't be the worst of Adam's punishments either. And this was all just months after CPS granted custody to Adam. It's disgusting. And what's even more disgusting is that all this information wouldn't come out to everyone, and Adam wouldn't be charged for any of this until 2022 this year, after Harmony was realized to have been missing. How long did all of this go on for little Harmony? And people keep asking why Adam even wanted her back if he didn't even want to take care of her. And from what I've seen, Crystal feels like Adam just wanted her back to spite her, which we've seen this in many, many cases before. The one parent will take the children to spite the other, or in other cases we've seen, the one parent will also murder the children to spite the other parent. And it's just awful. It's honestly it's fucking ridiculous. On top of that, Kevin also admits to seeing the aftermath, the abuse his nephew inflicted on his daughter. That abuse included the black eye, Harmony being spanked hard on the butt, her being forced to stand in the corner for hours, and being ordered to scrub the toilet with her toothbrush. All things that a 5-year-old should not be punished by. So this is where we're going to get into some of the reports. A neighbor contacted authorities on August 5th with concerns about a young child living at that address, which we'll read the document in a moment. The house was up for auction at the time, and the neighbor claimed that there was no electricity, just a small generator, and that there was trash everywhere. Okay, so I have the document up on the screen right here. This is the first report we're going to be talking about. This occurred on August 5th of 2019. It was received at 11:39 a.m. So we're going to go to the notes here. It says, neighbor concerned about young child living at this address that is listed here. She says she thinks the parents are squatting there and have no electricity, just a small generator, and there is trash everywhere. She's concerned for the child and asked that we check the condition. And then it further says, after this premises was checked, Montgomery residence has been there several times, and I've assisted DCYF on checks conducted here as well. Everyone is home. Generator is running, food in the fridge. They are healthy. All is well. Still working with Demetrius from DCYF. So after this first report, they said that everything's fine. but we will get on to how things are not fine. Okay, so August 21st now, there is a second report of the month. So the notes say there are squatters in the building, the home is up for auction, there is a generator running, and there is trash all over the place. Unknown exactly how many people are in there. Getting numerous calls about this. Tenant Adam is in the process of being evicted. His uncle Kevin Montgomery has been calling in, checking conditions and harassing him. DCYF has been involved as well. So this seems to be the time when Kevin spoke about in one of his interviews where he needed a police escort to remove items from the house, and that this is one of the last times that he actually seen his nephew. Okay, then September 18th, we have a third report. This time it's about a dog. Caller says that she is concerned that the dog that is at the address is being abused. When asked about abuse, she hears the people inside yelling at the dog, and then the dog yelps and more yelling, says ongoing problem, says that the dog then gets put outside. So this is an incident report from the time when Kevin tried to go and get his stuff from the house. And this is kind of the time when it's suspected that Adam cut off the family due to one of these situations. So it seems like Adam was staying in like a family member's house of some sort, and that there was items in the house that Kevin wanted to get out. Adam was apparently being kicked out of this house, but because of squatters' rights, he was still staying there. It was a whole mess, it seems like. I then spoke to Kevin. He told me Adam and his family had taken over the house since Helen had gone to Florida. Kevin said that they originally inhabited the upstairs, but took over the rest of the home. Kevin said he and Helen only wanted to retrieve some personal items before Adam and his family were able to be evicted at the end of the month. He then entered the home with Helen to retrieve her property. While inside the residence, I observed clutter in every room consisting of clothes and empty food containers. Adam told me that although the power had been turned off several months ago due to non-employment, he had a portable generator in the driveway which powered the refrigerator. So again, multiple people saying and reporting that this house is a disaster, that there's no electricity, although apparently the refrigerator is still running. But it makes you wonder, how are you cooking food then? If you have no electricity, how do you use the stove? I could see food in the cupboards and the refrigerator. Adam further explained that the home has running water as well. I went upstairs with Helen, where I contacted Adam's wife Kayla and the 3 children, redacted. All 3 children appeared to be clean and fed. Clothing was appropriate for the current conditions. Although this area was highly disheveled, it did not appear unsafe. The argument was diffused and both parties separated after the property was retrieved. In the present time, Kevin admits in an interview that the last time he physically seen Harmony is around October 2019. So it's just after these 3 reports. And that is again at that house in Manchester where Harmony was living with her father. In Kevin's own words, Harmony looked like a scared little puppy dog. Kevin also admits around this time that he called CPS, they followed up, and then Adam cut off the entire family. October 2019 is also when police are called to Adam's residence again for a wellness check. This is the last time that Harmony is physically seen by police. So November 2019, Crystal's son and Harmony's brother Jameson was officially adopted through foster care to a DC news anchor. And again, this is due to Crystal's drug abuse problem back in that time. But for some reason, around that same time, Harmony's case was closed and then she was reunited with Adam. And Crystal again talks about this in those interviews I keep playing with you about how she just didn't understand. They were, I guess, in Crystal's words, she basically said that the system was tired of dealing with her case and just wanted to close it. Blair and Jonathan Miller, who are the 2 adoptive dads of Jameson, put out a statement reading, Harmony refused to leave him while they were in the foster care. Harmony always changed his diapers and fed him his bottles. The couple also stated that they're close with Crystal and they tried to keep a relationship between Harmony and Jameson, but that it just wasn't successful. Again, pretty much due to Adam cutting everyone off. Blair said that he has been in touch with the police and that they're trying to help out in any way that they can. Each of the last 2 years, they said that they brought Christmas presents and birthday gifts for Harmony that they're waiting to give to her. Clearly, Jameson was adopted into a very loving family, and it's just so disappointing and sad that Harmony was instead placed back with her father and that this is the outcome. Clearly, someone who at minimum didn't even care that she was missing for 2 years. So as I said, Crystal and Jameson still had a pretty close relationship, even though he was adopted into a new family. And Jameson constantly wanted to see his sister. So it seems like the catalyst in all of this, and the reason that we all know now that Harmony is missing, is because her little brother Jameson wanted to see his sister, and so his adoptive fathers and Crystal decided that they wanted to try to get into contact with anyone that could get them into contact with Harmony or, Adam. But it seemed to be very, very difficult, and it seems that in the last couple of years that they were trying as many methods as they could to try to get contact with Adam or anyone that knew Adam's family so that they could get updates on Harmony, how she was, where she was, so that they could try to get Jameson in contact with her, but it was unsuccessful. So the current arrest affidavit, it shows that on November 18th of 2021, Manchester police received a phone call from Crystal Sorey where she reported her daughter was missing and that she hadn't seen her in over 6 months. This call prompted police to contact DCYF, and the department was unable to contact Adam Montgomery. So not even legal channels could contact Adam. There's a long period of time there where it seems like nothing much was going on. It seems like it was just this huge back and forth of like the police being called and nothing happening. But at the end of 2021, things finally start ramping up, and this is when things start happening and we finally get to start realizing that something is wrong here. December 2021, the Manchester's mayor office received an email pertaining to Harmony. From what the release said, it had to do with how DCYF wasn't checking back in, and then the mayor's office forwarded this email to the Manchester Police Department, and from there, an investigation was finally launched. So it took a couple weeks, but the email was finally released, and now we know that it was actually Crystal who sent this email. So this email was sent on December 29th of 2021 at 2:41 p.m. It is to the mayor, and the subject is, "My daughter is missing / in danger, and DCYF won't help." The email then says, "Hello, Mayor. I am a single mother of 3 and I currently only have 2 of my kids. My oldest daughter, Harmony, she's 7 years old. Her father, Adam Montgomery, has physical custody of her and is currently homeless and under the influence. DCYF has had an open case for my daughter and didn't remove her when they witnessed her bruises, and the house at the time had no running water. Now it's a year later and DCYF has done nothing to help me find her. She's supposed to be in 1st grade and he never enrolled her in school this whole time. She's missed important doctor's appointments she's had since a baby due to her disability in her eye. Please, I'm begging for help in finding my daughter before she ends up like the little boy that just passed away due to neglect through the department." And there are way too many cases where this happens, and I'm really scared that this happened again, but that's what it's seeming to have happened. And it's so heartbreaking that Crystal's saying this in this email, and we're in the situation that we are now. My next step is going to the media to get help wherever I need to find her and bringing her home safe. My phone number is redacted. Please help. Thanks for your time and happy holidays. And then redacted again. It doesn't directly say that this was Crystal, but you can kind of assume that it is Crystal due to the contents of the email. December 27th is specifically when the Division of Children, Youth, and Families, which is the DCYF, and this is when they notify police that they hadn't been able to find Harmony. December 31st, police finally announced that they've received a report that Harmony hasn't been seen since late 2019, and this is where the email is discussed.
New Hampshire are pleading for the public's help to find a missing 7-year-old girl. The shocking thing here is that she hasn't been seen since October of 2019. Why the delay? Because police say they were just notified of her disappearance. WBZ's Christina Rex says police have spoken to family members.
Harmony was reported missing at the beginning of this week by a combination of both individuals and DCYF. The last time the little girl was seen, it was by police.
For us to have a 2-year delay, all right, that is extremely concerning. So what's happened in the last 2 years? Fair question, all right? That's why I'm here today, because we need assistance.
December 31st is also when police finally announced that they found Adam, and they found him homeless, sleeping in a car with his new girlfriend. So he's not with Kayla anymore. He's not with Crystal, of course. He now has a new girlfriend. So at this point in time, this is what really blows my mind, because he then tells investigators that Harmony is fine and that he has seen her recently. But then he later changes his story, saying that he hasn't seen her since Thanksgiving of 2019. And he claims that Crystal, her mother, picked her up. They ended up questioning, of course, Adam's wife, Kayla, and she speaks to police the same evening. The affidavit notes that the last time Kayla claims to have seen Harmony was in November or December of 2019. And Kayla claims that last time she seen her was around this time. She seen her before she headed out to work. She claims Adam then told her that he was driving Harmony back to Crystal's house in Massachusetts. So now the story changes. So first, Adam tells police that Crystal came and picked up Harmony. Now his wife Kayla is claiming that Adam said that he was driving Harmony to Crystal's. So it's opposite stories. She also claims that she never heard anything about Harmony after that day. She also admits to have seen Harmony with a black eye, but says that Adam excused it by saying that one of their older children struck Harmony with a toy. And then goes on to say that Kayla hasn't seen Adam since October 2021, which is probably due to that restraining order that she had on him due to the DV and whatnot. Adam seemed to have been harassing her and abusing her, so it makes sense that she left. During all this time, all of these people have seen and reported Harmony being abused. On top of that, there is another person, Adam's brother Michael, also recalls having concerns the last time he's seen Harmony regarding Adam being physically abusive with her, citing that Adam was very short with Harmony and he had learned through another family member that Adam had given Harmony that black eye. So another person to add to the list of people that's seen little Harmony being abused and nothing happened. Various reports are made, but law enforcement and CPS did nothing, absolutely nothing, to save Harmony in this situation. Then we get into December 2021 to January 2022, which is the last few weeks. Authorities begin to search a home on Guilford Street, which is the 77 Guilford Street. We'll talk about a little more of that search in a moment. To New Hampshire, and they search it multiple times, which they then say in a news release is a focus of the investigation because it is the last location where Harmony was known to have resided before this disappearance in 2019. Finally, on January 4th of 2022, so just a couple weeks ago, Harmony's 31-year-old father, Adam Montgomery, was finally arrested on charges including failing to have Harmony in his custody, and he pleads not guilty. It's very Lori Vallow of him. In an arrest affidavit released, it shows that he was also charged with second-degree assault and interfering with custody and endangering the welfare of a child, and this is due to him allegedly hitting Harmony and, you know, the other obvious charges. But it took 2 years for Adam to be charged with this, which is just ridiculous. So here's where things get a little interesting. We have a little twist in the plot here. The very next day, on January 5th, Kayla, Adam's wife, is then arrested, and she is accused of welfare fraud for allegedly collecting $1,500 worth of food stamps in Harmony's name, even though she was no longer living with the couple and is currently missing. Kayla also pleads not guilty. It also seems that Kayla is really confused whether Harmony was living with them at that time. So this piece of the arrest affidavit is from January 7th of 2021. As part of a redetermination process, Kayla indicates to the DHHS that her household consists of 2 adults married, filing jointly, 4 children, 3 in common, and all claim as tax dependents. As of this time, Harmony has not been seen in a while. Adam and Kayla Montgomery have 3 children in common, and then it lists their ages. We don't need to get into that. The DHHS caseworker added a note on the redetermination paperwork of she, Kayla, seems confused about whether or not Harmony lived with them because she goes to her mom's every other weekend. Okay, so at this point of January 2021, Harmony hasn't been seen in a couple months. Kayla claims to police in current times that she hadn't seen Harmony since around Thanksgiving 2019. Yet in January of 2021, a couple months later, when she's filing for her government assistance, whatever this is, she's claiming that Harmony goes to her mother's every other weekend, even though Crystal hasn't seen Harmony in years. Crystal doesn't have any custody of Harmony. There is no arranged agreement that she has to go see her every other weekend. And that would then mean if Harmony is going to her mother's every other weekend, it means that the other weekends and during the week, Harmony is at their home, yet they haven't seen her. So it's just one big lie, which is why she gets arrested for fraud. Story's not making much sense, Kayla. The only other information I've really found about Kayla is that she's currently undergoing methadone treatment and that she was going through this before she was arrested. So that now the police are currently taking her to complete her treatments, which is, you know, it's good. So she also seems to be a recovering addict, which seems to be a theme in this case. All the adults in Harmony's life seem to be addicts or recovering addicts. Moving on to January 8th, Crystal makes her first public appearance in a plea for her daughter.
Tonight, her mother is speaking out for the first time. Our Michael Rosenfield was first with the story at 6. He has the latest from Manchester, where a vigil was held tonight in Harmony's honor.
Mother knows if her baby's here or not. So I know she's here.
Crystal Sorey feels her daughter is still alive.
If she's listening to you right now, what do you want to say?
Hi, baby. If you can see me or you can hear me, I want you to know that I never stop looking for you and I won't stop fighting until I find you, okay? And you stay strong and Mommy's right here fighting for you. I love you.
Crystal made her first public appearance and her first public comment since her daughter's mysterious disappearance made widespread headlines over the last week. She lit candles and said prayers with family and friends at a park in Manchester Saturday.
We just want her to know how much she's loved. And, we just want her to come home.
Crystal also brings up in another interview that she doesn't believe that Harmony is dead. She believes that she's alive. She says it's a mother's intuition. Some people feel like this is just her trying to hold on to hope that Harmony's alive. But it seems that Crystal's theory is that Adam has sold her or has her hiding away somewhere. Not really a theory that's been talked about a lot, but it seems to be the theory that Crystal's really hoping for. And then currently on January 9th of 2022, throughout the last week or so, police and the FBI evidence response team searched for clues at 77 Guilford Street, which is the last place that Harmony was known to have lived. And they searched here, as I said, for multiple days. An aerial view of the backyard showed tents and people digging. Some investigators had buckets, others were bringing out brown paper bags that are suspected to contain some sort of DNA evidence, maybe. Investigators have not really said what led to the search of this property other than the fact that it's the last known place that Harmony was. But after all of the searching there, no evidence would be announced to have been found, and also no remains were announced to have been found. So that is pretty much a rundown of the timeline of everything. As of recording this video, it is January 14th of 2022. Harmony is still missing. There is no really new updates on finding her at the moment. There is a $100,000 reward for any information on finding her, though. I will leave all the information down below if you have any information to give. Let me know down below how you feel about this case. This case is just, it's ridiculous. It's giving me Gabriel Fernandez vibes, which I think is what Crystal was mentioning in her email. This shouldn't have happened, and once again, we are dealing with a broken system. Let me know down below how you guys feel about this case. If you have any information that I didn't find, let's have a discussion about it below. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so that you're notified when I post. If you think this video is worth sharing, please give it a share and a like. I actually have to get to work, so I'm going to end this video a little abruptly, but let's discuss this case down below. I will obviously be doing updates if there's any more information that comes out that seems super vital. I hope you guys all stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next case. Bye.